bar when it's set. Tears fled the head, I'm waiting, I guess she's sweet, I guess she confess. She thinking less, not drinking less. Bathroom test, best to get spontaneous. I stereotype, but to rest tonight. Imagine, believe, and achieve, it works. Skyline as a rise like fireworks.
Boom, boom. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of After the Storm. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Just got through watching the Thunder and Mavs. The Thunder, of course, taking care of business tonight against the Mavericks, 120 to 109. So I was happy to see what the Thunder did tonight. It was, you know, what's so crazy is that I saw a stat and it said that the Thunder are 11-5 when scoring 120 points. 11-5 when scoring 120 points. Now remember, the crazy thing is last year we only averaged 103 points a game. 103 points a game. And now I think we're still 6th or 7th now, scoring at 115 points per game. And you can look. And what I'll do this week is I'll put our old scoring average from last year and just look at all of our numbers from last year compared to this year, so you can kind of see what the difference is and what we've done differently. Because you can see right here, 115.8 points per game, giving up 117, 46, 46, 34, 35, 24, 24, 14, and 17. And we do lead the league in turnovers as far as creating turnovers for opponents at 17 points per game. So just think that's 12 points difference. That's a 12-point difference, 103 to 115. So now what basically that's meant is SGA has just been, ridiculous. He is still the only player with 50 steals and 30 blocks. Yes, 50 steals and 30 blocks. And we're almost through the halfway point. And what I'll do is I'm going to go through and kind of give grades for the first half of the season on the players who have played and just kind of give you a breakdown of what I think that the Thunder have done. And of course, I'll do that on the Unpopular Hour, my daily sports talk live stream. And then, of course, here on After the Storm, we'll do a special show there. And we'll probably do that from a remote place, Cats, or somewhere like the Cats or my shirt, Meds or Coco's or something like that. We will do a remote show just for that. So hopefully you guys will come out. You want to talk about it. You want to get on air, kind of give your opinion. You can. You'll be able to text me questions, so you'll be able to do that. But anyway, to start the game off, this Thunder started with SGA, K-Will, J-Dub, Josh, and Dort. And, you know, it was crazy because Kendrick Williams had 10 points. SGA had 2. He had 1 shot on goal, and we're down 18-24 to the 5-minute mark. 1 shot. 1 shot he had on the goal. 1 shot. And part of what, I don't understand why Wiggins is not starting when he's 1-7. I don't understand this guy's, we need to evaluate the coaching staff. I'm going to evaluate him too. Because tonight, like I've always said, he gives up 8 to 10 points a game. He costs us because of his lineups and who he has in the game. And I've been saying that, and every time I try to come up with a thing, I can tell you, and I back it up over and over and over. It's just crazy. And tonight, same thing. It's like, what are you doing? Now, I will say this was a huge game for the Thunder because we had split the season deal with the Mavericks thus far. We had beat them the first time. They came and beat us the second time around. And SJ's been averaging 44, I think, for the whole season. But they did not have Luka tonight. And that being said, they came out. They just killed us on the boards. They would just dominate us inside to start. But, once again, we were small. And then Giddey, I just, Josh was just off. Dort was off. SGA wasn't there. And we're just reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching. And it's like, dude, move your feet. Stop reaching. That's lazy. That's just lazy. And I think, a lot of it is, it's kind of like when we played the Celtics. And they came here and played us and there was no SGA. And the Celtics just kind of was like, eh. And I think we kind of had that same thing. I know Luka's 1-1. You know, they're coming off a back-to-back. And they just hit us in the mouth really quick. But then we went on a 13-3 run, and we had SGA Muscala, Lindy Waters, Isaiah Joe, and Trey Mann in the game. And I will say this about Lindy. You know how I feel about him. I think he's a good kid, but he's just not. He's a spot shooter here and there in spots, and the Thunder do that. But he plays him way longer than I ever would. But tonight he did knock down shots in the first quarter that helped us go on that run. And I just it's just frustrating to me because I like him, but I'm like, dude, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? You're a head coach in the NBA making all these millions of dollars. What are you looking at? Are you not evaluating right? Do we have different mentalities? Do we see different things? And clearly we do, because I want to win. So if there's no pressure on you to win or lose, then yeah, I see you can do whatever you want. But to me, I want to win, and the players want to win. And I'm sorry, when they see you trotting certain guys out there, they're just like, what is he doing? They practice every day. Basketball is the one sport you know if somebody's better than you or not. There's no hiding that. You're there 5-on-5. It's not like football. There's 11-on-11. There's a bunch of different baseball where you're throwing it. In basketball, it's one-on-one-on-one. You know somebody's better than you. There ain't no hiding that. So anyway, the Thunder end up coming back and with that 13-3 run, which brought us back into the game. And at the end of the first quarter, the Mavericks was winning 34-33. They were 6 for 10 from the three, 52% from the field, 11 rebounds, 4 pips. That's my fave. Points in the paint, 3 turnovers. And what I said they were killing us on the boards was extra shots. That's what I meant. 11 rebounds to 10. But what ended up happening is they were 6 for 6 from 3. And then they missed their last 4. And you know what I always say? Long shots equal long rebounds equal transitional baskets, which equal what? Flow of the game. And then once the Thunder get into the flow of the game, they're really, really good at knocking down threes. And so that being said, we were 3 for 52%, 10 rebounds, 16 pips, and that's attacking the basket. And, of course, Shea doing what he does, leading the league in points in the paint. With only 1 turnover, really proud of how well we have taken care of the basketball. And then bench scoring, Mavericks had 4, we had 7. So, like I said, I liked what I saw at the end of the first half, in the first quarter, because it's who you had in the game. I mean, you have Kendrick Williams outscoring SGA, really? I mean, I like K. Are you serious? He is your best player. He should have the ball in his hands. And only when you had SGA, Muscala, Waters, Joe, and Mann, who all said, here, SGA, you just took over the game, and then everybody else was role players, we got back in the game, won on a 13-3 run. It's not rocket science. Start of the second quarter, you have Josh, Wiggins, Lindy Waters, Trey Mann, and Omanuri. And I'm going, why is Lindy Waters starting? Why is Omanuri starting? They are G League players. What the hell are you doing? I don't get it. G League players come off the bench. They do not start quarters. And every time you do this, it costs us every single time, but you have not learned your lesson. Anyway, we come out. Lindy Waters knocking down threes. He had 8 points and 2 blocks in the first half. But they started missing long shots, equal long rebounds, and then boom, here we go. We went after him. And the crazy thing is that Josh picked up his 5th foul. 5th foul. I mean, how does he out there with 5 fouls? I didn't understand that. Excuse me, that was third quarter. Anyway, he picks up his 4th foul. You have to pull him out the game, and you did, and then you put him back in. But what happened was, all of a sudden, boom, you put in SGA, K. Will, Dort, Wiggins, and Josh, and what happens? We go on this crazy run, and we end up being up 64-50. I just don't understand. I really don't. I mean, I like Omanuri, I like Lindy Waters, but I want you coming off my bench. I want my players who play, my NBA players playing. You're a role player. You come off the bench. And when you start this, you have Wiggins, you have Wiggins not starting, you have K Will over Wiggins. What are you doing? We're 7-0 with him starting, and you don't start him. Once again, if he's undefeated as a starter, why is he not starting? If you win the majority of your games with him starting and he's not starting, why is he not starting? Why would you change the lineup? Why do you have 18 or 19 different starting lineups? Why? We are now what? 18 and 22. That's 40 games, and you've had 18 or 19 different starting lineups. How? When you've got a guy who, to me, your starting lineup is set. You've got SGA, Josh, Dort, Wiggins, and then whoever the fifth guy is. Whether that's Poku when he's coming back healthy, or not Muscala, not necessarily, but whoever your other guy is, Jay Robinson Earl's hurt. You need another guy. Like I said, we need another big guy. And that one thing that we needed at the draft was what? Shooters and inside presence. Now, we did pick up J-Dub, which, like I said, let me give my hat to Sam Presti on that. Unbelievable pickup. Great job by our scouting, picking that guy up. Did not see him coming whatsoever. But that being said, you start these guys and look what happens. Then you have to come in and, boom, all of a sudden you finish out with SGA and K. Will, Dort, Wiggins, and Josh. 64-50. I just don't understand it. But I will say this. When there's long rebounds, long shots equal long rebounds equal transitional baskets. When we play defense and don't give up open looks, we've shot 45% from three in the last 3 games. You heard me. 45% from three. Now, all that's telling me is a couple things. One, when we get out and we hustle and we're flying all over the place, teams are missing shots, missing threes because we would give up on open looks, but we've not done that the last 10 or 12 games or so. We've been pretty, really, really good on defense and just keeping our opponents, getting their hands in face, not giving open looks. Not that many. I mean, still you're going to get some because it's the NBA. You can't. You're going to give open looks. But we don't give as many. We rotate good on defense. So that being said, you have the Thunder. We're throwing out. We're getting our hands out. They're shooting long shots. We're getting long rebounds. We're getting out in transition. We're getting easy baskets. Guys are getting dunks. Guys are getting layups. And all of a sudden, we're knocking down shot after shot after shot. Why? Because we're in the flow of the game. We've got some layups. We've got some easy baskets. All of a sudden, the energy goes up. The energy in our building, which Thunderdome, which hopefully I hope it gets back to being Thunderdome again. It was crazy in there. And those of you who went to games, you'll understand, you know exactly what I'm saying. It's crazy. It really, truly is. And I love our team. And I've said this. And remember, the over-under was 26. Chet got hurt. It went down to 23. We're 18 and 22. I predicted that we would win 31 games to 33. And that at our maximum, if we're playing our absolute best, we would win 40 games. And right now, at the halfway point, we would be at 36. And when I said that, people would tell I was at, Cutting Up Barbershop, and when we did that show, they all looked at me like, you're out your mind. The Thunder are not going to win that many games. I'm like, bro, I promise you, the Thunder are going to win. And they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. I go, no, one thing I know is basketball. I understand the flow of the game. I understand how things work. I get it. I see it. The game slowed down for me a long, long time ago. And when the game slows down for you, you get to see things. And so what I'm trying to do for you all who are listeners and viewers in my audience is try to help you understand what happens. So when you're at the game, you see the little flows. You see what's happening. When the team starts shooting long rebounds, oh, we're getting out of transition. Yes, because they're shooting long rebound, taking long shots. We're getting long rebound, and we're kicking out, getting in transition. All of a sudden, we're making shots. Why? We're in the flow of the game. And I hear our announcers talking about we're a fast break team. No, we're not. We lead the league in 17 turnovers. That's how you get out and get your baskets. By turning the team over. So you get the team to turn the ball over, you get out in transition, and then they take a lot of long shots, which equal long rebounds, which equal transitional baskets, which equal flow of the game. It's not rocket science. But I want for you all who actually listen to the show to start seeing what I see. Then the games you'll see when that start happening, you're like, oh yeah, we're on a run. And you'll also know why are we shooting? Why are you taking shots? Why are you doing step back threes from the three instead of doing a step back three inside the 3 point line and step back to the three where your shooting percentage goes way up. And when we're at the 3 point line shooting, when we make the extra pass and we're wide open, our percentages go up. But when we try to take people off the dribble and all that, we don't have that kind of player. We don't have Steph Curry's. We don't have Kyrie Irving's. That ain't who we have. Most of our players are 8 or 9 on most teams, and not even on most teams because we've got them in rejects or trade offs or fall offs. So at the end of the second half, or at halftime, or into the first half, second half, or at halftime, here was the score: Thunder up 69-55. 3 point percentage. The Mavericks were 10 for 20. And this is the thing when I look at the Thunder and their scoring. We were outscored 34-33. In the second quarter, we outscored the Mavericks 36-21. And it's because he actually put in guys who could play in the game. The Mavericks were 10 for 20, 40%. And remember, the first quarter, they were shooting, 50%, 52%? And what did? We got out on them. And after they went 6 for 6, they were 4 for 14 from 3, which allowed us to build the lead. SGA got on his groove, started going at him, and he just does what he does. 19 rebounds for the Mavericks, 8 points in the paint with 5 turnovers. So they took care of the basketball. How we got out and got the lead is them taking those long shots. And we killed them in the paint because Luka's not there. He's like SGA. They create so many baskets for us by scoring inside. Once you start scoring inside, the teams have to collapse, and when they collapse, that allows you to shoot more open threes. And then once we get guys who can shoot, that's going to help us. OKC Thunder, 9 for 15. Yes, I said 9 for 15 from 3, 54% from the field, 25 rebounds, 28 points in the paint, 2 turnovers. Mavs, 15 points. Oklahoma City, 30 points with bench players. So our bench stepped up, did all the little things that they had to do, was really, really proud of what they did. And, because we're not going to win without our bench. We're just not. We have to have these guys coming up and scoring, which is why I want J-Dub not starting, but coming off the bench, starting the second quarter, starting the fourth quarter. My idea is it's Josh, J-Dub, Man, K-Rich, and then, unfortunately, basically we're stuck because we got guys hurt. So he's almost stuck with adding him. But he's smaller than our other guys. So to me, you either got to start Wiggins or you got to start somebody else in that role. But, that's a tough situation. But you don't start 2 G League players. Give me 1 because I got people hurt. But you give me, first to start the game, I told you what my lineup was. Second quarter, it's got to be Josh because I want SGA or Josh on the court at all times. I don't want us to be on the court without either one. And you start the second quarter, possibly even with Lou Dort. So you do Josh, Dort, J-Dub, Trey Man, and whoever your fifth, whether that's K-Rich, I guess is who my other guy would be. Or I don't start Dort and I play, but I'd like to start Dort. Or maybe because I could pull him out, he's usually not there at the end of the first quarter. So that would be my second group if I had to do it. So that being said, let's take this break at halftime to talk about my sponsors. Collaborative Logic and my guy Russell Williford and all they do, helping the computers and everything get ready. Mark Long at SRB, appreciate them doing what they do for engineering, surveying, or planning. If you want to do that, hey, they're the people to call. They love to be behind the scenes. My guy Jose Fierro and Oak Grove Trucking. If you've got anything that needs to be moved, rock and dirt, he is your dude. Greg and Max Nafee, as always, taking care of me and doing what they do. Love those two. And last but not least, YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They are an equal housing lender, member of the FDIC, and they're also our sponsor for our remote live streams to black, women, and minority owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. Appreciate them doing that. And if you want to pre qualify for any personal or business loans, please do so at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Go in and see them, and then you have all your paperwork and everything done. Go in, sign your name, boom, get a check, or they can deposit it in your account. If you're already there like me, I already banked there, so it makes my life a lot easier. But then you can go in and you can see Joe Horn. You can go in and you can see Nathan Taylor or Carson Wright. If you need to say, I'm not going to beat the other guys up like Drew does. My guy Drew Hinthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. I'm not going to say what he normally says. You have to watch our show, The Unpopular Hour, to listen to my boy go off on his little rants and teasing people. But anyway, starting the third quarter, the Thunder start with the starting lineup: SGA, J-Dub, K-Will, Dort, and and Josh. Sorry. God, my writing is terrible. I need to work on my penmanship. Can anybody help me with that? I need to work on my penmanship because sometimes I can't even read what the hell I'm writing. Anyway, in the third quarter, the Thunder show up, and Josh picks up his fourth foul. They leave him in the game. Then he picks up his fifth foul. And I'm like, why is Josh still in? You pick up your fourth foul. That's like in high school or college. You pick up your third foul, you put him out. You can't leave him in there at the beginning of the second half. You can't. If they pick up a foul, you got to take him out. And, of course, he left Josh in there. Josh picked up his fifth foul with 8 minutes and 25 seconds to go. And then the second thing that did is they got him in trouble. Second thing the Mavericks did is they slowed the game down. They took care of the basketball. They watched with the three. They weren't just going up and jacking up shots. They were very deliberate in their half-court sets. And that's what they normally do with Luka, is they're very deliberate. They take their time. They're not running up and down the court, which is what allowed us to break the lead out on them in the second quarter. So anyway, they're very, very deliberate. They were taking care of the basketball. They were watching what they were doing. They were playing good, solid defense. And then they made a nice run on us. And then on a plus, they shot 27. They were shooting 27 free throws in the third total up at that point. 27 free throws by the middle of third quarter. 27. Why? Because what we were doing in the first quarter, reaching. What we were doing in the second quarter, playing good defense. What do we do in the third quarter? Started reaching again. Not moving our feet, which allowed Josh to pick up those fouls, his fifth foul, and then to shoot 27 free throws. And they slowed the game down and they started attacking us. It was like there's nothing to fear inside. And like they do have Christian Wood, but I mean, he doesn't really, he'll block a shot here and there, but he's not like this intimidating force inside, even though I did want us to get Christian Wood from Houston. I thought he would have been a nice pickup for us. He doesn't shoot the three, but he blocks shots and he can rebound and he's athletic. So was kind of my thing. But well, fortunately for us, we have the second best guard in the NBA. And definitely one of the top vote getters in the West. I love SGA, and I love what he's playing thus far this year. And in fact, if you haven't gone out and did your voting for the NBA All-Star team, I have here are the guys that I voted for the East and the West. I took SGA clearly, Luka as the other guard for the West, the big fella, the Joker, and LeBron, and then I took Zion because Zion he's just a matchup nightmare. He's a more athletic Charles Barkley is what he is. Then the East, you can see all I picked in the East. That's my All-Star balloting right there, and I think it's going to be fun watching those two go. And a lot, I had a hard decision there at guards, but my big men were really simple. Giannis, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and then, of course, I took Kyrie because how could I not? Because he is just a monster. I definitely had to take him. Now, in the West, I had an issue because do I take Shea over Ja? Yes. And then they had Trey as far as the Hawks. I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? you're kind of stuck right there on who you're going to take. But anyway, those are my top 10 and who I voted for. So you need to go there online and vote right away. So at the end of three quarters, the Mavericks were 83, the Thunder were 96. So the Thunder maintained a lead. We were up 13 at this point, and thanks. I can't even speak. Thanks to SGA, 17 points, and of course his buzzer maker at the buzzer to put us up 96 to 83, because that was kind of a knife to them. I think they said, "Oh my God, they're just on fire." And yes, we were firing on all cylinders when it came to that. SGA is just a monster, absolute monster. Anyway, the Mavericks were now 12 of 30 from the field, 41% from the field, 31 rebounds, 18 pips, and they picked that up. They started attacking. Like I said, they slowed the game down, 18 points, still 8 turnovers. We bumped up to 5 with 44 pips, points in the paint, and a lot of that, like I said, that's just SGA. 37 rebounds, 52% from the field, 9 for 22 from 3. And that's the problem with the Thunder. We start naking down shots, all of a sudden we think we're shooters, and we're really not. As long as we catch and we're wide open, fine. But when you're trying to, shoot contested shots and doing it, we just don't. We're not that talented. We can't do that and get away with that. Mavs bench scoring 17. The Thunder outscored them with 35 total after end of three quarters as far as our bench scoring. Love what I was seeing from everybody at that point. But like I said, starting of the fourth quarter, here we go. And his starting lineups. And I'm just going, I wish somebody could explain it to me. I don't understand it. But this is the key. The Thunder are now 12-6 when leading after three quarters. A lot of it has to do with how well Shea, and remember, we have the best third quarter percentage in the NBA this year as far as point differential. And we were scoring at one point, 31 points at one point for a high during the season in the third quarter. We were just on fire. We came out at halftime, and the adjustments he made were just fantastic. And we came out and we just punished people. But they outscored us in the second quarter. What was it? They outscored us 28-27, which we normally don't get outscored, and we really normally take care of business. So that being said, we were 11-6 at that time. We're now 12-6 with leading after three quarters. So you start the fourth quarter with J-Dub, Waters, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, and Muscala. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, J-Dub, okay, Isaiah Joe, okay, Wiggins, okay, Muscala, got to have a big boy. Yeah, that's all we got. But Lindy Waters, why is Lindy Waters starting? Our coach loves him. I get it. He was a G League coach. And he likes G League players clearly. But this is the NBA, not the G League. And like I said, I like Lindy Waters. And I'm not bashing him in any sense of the form. Not at all. But at the second, because he's an Oklahoma State boy. But I'm going to call it as I see it always. I'm never going to let personal whatever influence what is. I'm not one of these, reporters who do that. They may not like somebody, oh, he slighted me or this and that. Well, guess what? I'm not going to vote you in the Hall of Fame. I don't like the way you did that. I don't like the way you did that. When in reality, the reason why you're being called on is because you supposedly know sports. And your vote is strictly on what that person's performance was on the field of play. Zero to how you like him or don't like him. Like Deion Sanders says, when they say Hall of Famer, yes or no. If you have to think about it, they're not. It's not hard. You look at somebody's body of work and were they dominant? And if they were dominant for 3, 4, 5 years, then you have to say yes. If you look at the College Football Hall of Fame or the College Basketball Hall of Fame, the people that you put in, they were dominant. My guy Terry Miller finally got his day. He was dominant for 3 years in college football. Dominant. But it took 30 years or whatever it was, 40 years for them to put him in? Stupid. Either you dominant or you weren't. Either you could play or you couldn't. He's a runner-up Heisman to Earl Campbell. Frustrating to me. I just don't get it. But anyway, you start with J-Dub, Walters, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, and Muscala. And what happens? 8-0 run. 8-0 run. Boom. Gone. Because what do I say? I want Josh or SGA on the court at all times. Josh starts the second and the fourth quarters. SGA starts the first. Or Josh and him. I want Josh starting every quarter. But SGA plays the whole first quarter, whole third quarter. I take Josh out, give him the rest, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the first quarter and the third quarter, so he can start the first 4 minutes or so, 5 minutes of the second quarter, second and fourth quarters. Then I put SGA in there around 7 minutes and give Josh a little break, and then bring him back in with 3 minutes to go and let him finish out. But I'm managing the game, not minutes. Our coach manages minutes, not the game. So anyway, what did I say about costing us 8 to 10 points a game because of his lineups? 8-0 run right there. So all of a sudden, it's 96-91. 96-91, just like that. Boom. And then what do you have to do with 9 minutes to go? You put in Dort, Josh, Omanuri, Waters, and Wiggins. That's who you have in there. So you take out J-Dub. You put Josh back in. You take out Isaiah Joe. You leave in Waters, and you take out Muscala, and you put in Omanuri. So, and then you leave in Waters and Wiggins. And I'm like, why is Waters still in the game? He scored great in the first. To me, Lindy Waters is like Muscala. If you're knocking down shots, hey, I got you. You play. If you ain't knocking down threes, he scored no points second half. Why are you in the game? First half, boy, he was on it. If you're not giving me stuff right away, boom, come sit down. Muscala, you ain't giving me nothing, come sit down. I mean, I'm trying to win the game. I have you in for specific reasons. You're a three-point shooter. You're stretching the defense. If you're not stretching the defense, if you're not making threes, come sit down. That's why I need you there. That is your role. And if you can't do that, then come sit down. It ain't hard. I'm not being harsh. Just being factual. So anyway, all of a sudden you decide at 7 minutes and 50 seconds you're going to put in SGA with a score of 102-93. And you have SGA, Dort, K-Will, Omanuri, and Josh. And what happens? Boom, bust them up, get back out to a big lead, basically ended the game and ended any chance that they had in the game. Not getting at them get less than 10, getting closer than 10. Because why? Look at your lineup. Now, when we get Poku back, and I'm not the biggest Poku fan, but he's played well. And like I said, if you do good, I'm going to give you your props. If you don't play well, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm not going to be mean and go, well, they didn't play well. If you play well, you play well. If you don't, you don't. I'm whatever. I want Oklahoma City to win. And like I said, 18-22 puts us at 36 wins. I said 31-33, 40 wins, playing our maximum, getting everybody rolling. And then on top of that, what can you do for next year? You can't really change up. You can't really do a whole lot. Why? Because of the simple fact that you got to see what you have in Chet. And then if Chet is not going to be that guy, which I don't believe he is, then you use your draft picks and get somebody else. You've already wasted 3 picks on Jang. He is not that 3 first round. I'm like, to move up to get him, he's a project. And I get tired of these people thinking they're trying to find the next Luka or Joker, these overseas players. They're far and few in between. You need them overplaying. Let me go and let me watch you play against NBA players. Come over here and play in some Pro-Am stuff. Let me watch you there. Then I'll make a determination. I'm not going to give you credit because you're over in Europe. Come over here and play. Let me see if you're tough, if you can do the physical and skill set. Let me see if you can do both. Because over there, physical don't count. It's skill set only. Here, you have to have physical and skill set. So anyway, that's kind of how I look at it, and that's the way I see it. It's just frustrating as hell to me because these guys fall in love and think you're going to find. Luka is a freak. He's a freak. He's not. He's been playing against Remember, you had that play when he played against Westbrook when he was 16 when we were in Oklahoma City. He's just a freak. Totally different. He's just different. He just is. But he better get his butt in some shape because once he actually gets in shape, you figure that he would have lost that baby fat by now. But clearly he hasn't. But once he actually works at it and gets in more physical shape, he is just going to be an absolute monster. So the final score, the Thunder 120, Mavericks 109. Mavericks falling to 23 and 18. The Thunder are now 18 and 22. The Mavs ended up being 14 for 39 from the 3-point line, 42% from the field, 39 rebounds with 24 points in the paint. 12 turnovers. This is our second game that we've had less than double-digit turnovers. Very proud of us taking care of the basketball. Oklahoma City 12 for 28 from 3. And once again, remember I said we're shooting 45% in our last 3 games. We've been shooting the ball really well, and when we play good defense, that's what happens. Long shots equal long rebounds, equal transitional points, equal flow of the game, equal us shooting regular shots at the 3-point line, not 5 feet behind trying to do heat checks. 48%, and remember, that's right at the number I wanted us to shoot. Remember, I don't want us to shoot over 29 threes a game. I think that's just 30, 33, 34. That's way too many threes. 48% from the field, 47 rebounds, 56 pips, 8 turnovers. Mavs, 27 points, bench scoring, us 35. And you know, if you've been watching, one of my favorite stats is compare the first half and the second half. We were up 14 at halftime, ended up winning by 11. The Mavs were 4 for 19 from 3. The second half, 4 for 19 from 3, 42%. Let me see, we out-rebounded them by 6 at half and ended up out-rebounding them by 8 overall. Points in the paint, we were up by 20 at halftime, and we ended up being up 32 to end the game. 5 turnovers, we had 5-2. They had 12-8. Which meant it was 7-6. So we won that as well. But so you look at us, we were 3 for 13 the second half of 3, because a lot of those were just doing heat checks and step backs. So just catch the ball and shoot it from the 3-point line. You can see bench scoring, we only scored 5 points the second half for our bench. And why is that? Simply because we were trying to do other things other than what we're capable of doing. Playing, we get into a groove and we think we can shoot and we can do this and we can do that, and we really can't. And it's just frustrating as hell. So, that being said, let's look at the overall box score. And you can see right here, J-Dub, 10 points, 5 for 11, 0 from 2 from 3 with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. K-Will, 14 points. He only scored 4 points the second half after scoring 10 in the first quarter. Remember, he was our lead scorer over SGA. Well, actually, SGA ended up tying him, but once he went off the floor, SGA scored 8 of his 10 points with Kendrick Williams off the floor. Kendrick Williams, 6 for 7, 2 for 3. Great game by him. 9 rebounds. Like I said, I love if that was coming off the bench. I think it would have made it a better deal than him starting, but that's just me. 33 points by SGA, 11 for 17. Remember my stat that I always tell you? I'm going to go back there and look. And every time SGA makes 11 field goals, 10 or more field goals, you look at our record. It's pretty good. So, but I'm going to go back and check that and see what we have, because that, to me, that's our magic number for us staying in games and possibly winning games when SGA has at least 10 made field goals. 11 for 17, 0 for 1 for 3, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. And, he's ridiculous. He really is playing well and has been since probably the last 20 or so games at the end of last year. I started watching him and seeing how he just completely changed how he was playing, and he's just been crazy good since. Josh Giddey, 10 points, 4 for 12, 2 for 4 from 3, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. And, of course, he scored the last, so that all 5 starters were in double figures. Lou Dort rounding it off with 18 points, 7 for 20 from the field, 3 from 8 from the 3-point line with 5 rebounds and 1 assist. Lindy Waters, 8 points, scored them all in the first half there. Shot the ball really well. He was 3 for 7 and went 0 for 1 the second half. 3 for 6, 2 for 4 from three, with 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Auburn Uri, 6 points, 3 for 6 from the field with 3 rebounds. Muscala, 4 points, 1 for 2, 1 for 2. And like I said, 3 rebounds. If he's not knocking down shots, and the SGA and him work really well together because SGA has figured out how to get him open. And what I always say with that is SGA drive to the basket, or he drives towards Muscala's man, makes Muscala's man come. He kicks to Muscala, and if Muscala gets a wide open look uncontested, he's just deadly. But when he gets a guy in his face, not so much. So SGA does a great job of doing that to get Muscala shots. Trey Mann, 6 points, 3 for 4, 0 for 1, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists. Like that 3 assist number by SGA. Excuse me, by Trey Mann. Isaiah Joe, 5 points, 1 for 3, with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. And of course, Aaron Wiggins rounding it off with 6 points, 2 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3 from three, 3 rebounds and 5 assists. Like that number by him and what he's done. I just like Aaron Wiggins. I've always liked Aaron Wiggins. I don't know why he's not starting. I don't understand it. I have my 5. I like my second group, but I like that coming in. He's playing guys. I'm like, what? You're costing us points, and he costs us points. Like I've told you guys, he costs us 8 to 10 points a game. He just does. And I think that for us to go to another level, which we possibly can, and I appreciate the fans coming to the game and supporting the Thunder because they need that. They need to know that Oklahoma City cares about them and wants them to win. So I like one of the fans coming to the game and enjoying it and backing it because remember, we're 1 of 30. And Oklahoma City is on the map because we have an NBA team. I was talking to somebody about that tonight. You know, you take away the Thunder from Oklahoma City. Do you think we get the Omni without the Thunder? Do you think Oklahoma City builds up? They're like, oh, it's maps. Without the Thunder, none of that matters. Now you got everybody wanting to come down to see the game. People are watching. It's just more stuff going on. That's what NBA franchises do. Seattle, what did they do? Every city that's lost a team, what did they do? Oh, my God, no, what happened? You can't afford to lose the Thunder. Can't afford it. Build us a new arena. Let's go check it out. I mean, we're not do like Milwaukee. We're a small city because somebody was talking about, Oklahoma City small. So is San Antonio. So is Milwaukee. And think about this about Milwaukee. They have 3 arenas right next to each other. The original one that Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem, played in. Then you have the one that they play in currently right next door. And then the big, beautiful billion-dollar facility is right next to that. 1, 2, 3. And we need another bigger facility. And it's just going to help us grow. We're going to be better. It's going to be more comfortable for the fans. There's going to be more stuff for the kids to do, better places to eat. So you can go to the game early and sit down and get you a nice meal instead of, which is nothing wrong with going to Mahogany, going to the Mantle or Mickey Mantle's or wherever, or the Manhattan, wherever you choose to eat, or Patrono, whatever. Doesn't matter. You can still go to all those places and eat. Or you can go inside the Thunder and you're already there parked underneath the Cox Convention Center if you have those tickets. And then just go ahead and do it. I mean, why wouldn't you? Now, I personally believe that the facility should be where the Cox Convention Center is now because that's 4 city blocks. You could build a great facility right there. Now, I do believe it's going to end up going across the street from the current Thunder or to the west where the old parking lot was. I think it was Fred Jones and then Reynolds Ford, whatever. I think it will end up going there. But, man, you got 4 city blocks right there. Man, you could do a lot where the old Myriad, old Oklahoma, or old Thunder, or Cox Convention Center. Man, you could do a lot with that. You can do a lot with that. I just think so. You can build a beautiful facility. You can have an indoor deal. You can have a thing where all the fans, if they're not at the game, they can, get together and join in one huge space, have gigantic screens up there, make it a beautiful experience for the kids and those people who do not get to go to the game. That's just my opinion, though. I mean, And that's what I would do, but I don't have the influence to make that happen. But if it comes down to a vote, I will be voting for that exact thing, I promise. So, that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching this edition of After the Storm, your Oklahoma City post-game analysis show. I want to thank you guys for opening. Hopefully, this was informative to you and have helped you grow as a basketball fan and as a Thunder supporter. That being said, everybody have a great night.